kind of blend in the background.
First of all, I want to very much thank Senator Collins and Warner for leading this effort and really championing this issue of data protection for years before this legislation, and Senator Coates as well, as such an important member of the Intelligence Committee. And my three colleagues that stand behind me, they have been way ahead of this even before this important legislation that we're introducing today, and I'm very honored to be part of this effort, which is incredibly important. I think many of us were really shocked to hear the breadth of the OPM breach, the over 22 million people in this country that were impacted by this breach, current federal employees, but also anyone who has worked for the federal government that's undergone a background check. And as we learned, unfortunately, the background check information, basic protections were not in place, whether it was encrypting the information or using a multi-step verification process. Some of the things, as we've learned in the breaches that have occurred in the private sector, and I look forward to us addressing the private sector issue as well. But some of the basic protections that the private sector has already put in place have not been put in place to protect such critical information that is gathered by our government. And so this bill is important to give the Department of Homeland Security the legal authority that it needs to hold other agencies accountable, and for us in turn to make sure that we can hold DHS accountable to address this important issue on behalf of the federal employees that have become victims of this breach, and other of my constituents across the country and all of our constituents, because this is devastating when you're the subject of theft like this. As Senator Collins talked about, identity theft, your credit rating, this is something that takes years often to untangle. And so the best steps we can take are the basic steps that need to be taken to protect people's personal information. And so I'm glad to be part of this effort. It will allow the Department of Homeland Security rightly to have the type of authority it needs to ensure that other agencies are putting in the right types of protections to protect people's information. And it's a very important step in addressing this problem. I know that we have much more work to do, and I know that I look forward to working with the senators behind me who have been leading this effort as we also get at cyber legislation that will address some of the private companies' data breaches that all of us are concerned about as well. Thank you.